As we leave Frying Pan Bay after 6 fun-filled days with family, we plan to travel to another very popular anchorage with loopers, Echo Bay, where Captain Glenn and myself, Kim, are mesmerized by the landscapes that we pass on our day of travel through the Georgian Bay area into the Sans Souci. We will have 2 tracks planned to follow. The first is the small craft channel. Normally, when there are higher wave heights and higher winds, it is the safer route. The second is what I refer to as the big water or open passage. Both are charted and very well marked. What makes the decision for us is obviously weather and wave height. Although we check and double check apps, it's always best to have 2 safe routes. It's always wise to plan a bailout route in case of weather changes that were not forecasted or the waters are being too uncomfortable to travel. We're looking forward to trying the famous Henry fish and chips and exploring by dinghy as we encounter some very large turtles and hidden waterways that take our breath away. So come along for an extraordinary adventure as we explore and learn on our great loop.
So we went in shopping, just did a little bit of provisioning. So for $106, I don't feel this was a bad haul. We did get sausages, we got pork chops, we got cheese, avocados, bananas, eggs, obviously some peppers, and asparagus. I do have frozen vegetables, but it's really nice to have fresh. So, and then we're gonna treat ourselves to have fries one night. And we've been making our own ice creams, so we bought a can of this to do that. And then we did go to the liquor store, so we got some drinks that we can laze around in the tubes with. And yeah, not a bad haul. That was at the Honey Harbor General Grocery Store. It was 16 minutes to dinghy from Frying Pan Bay out. Just undoing the rope. As the other day we had tornado warnings and we had no choice. We had to tie around a tree.
We put a lot of thought into our electronic navigational systems, but my very dear friend Paula, who's been a boater for many years and has experienced the Georgian Bay area many times, has taught me the importance of paper navigational charts. If your electronics ever fail, and at least with paper charts, you have a solid idea of where you are and how to get to where you're going safely. It doesn't hurt in the Georgian Bay waters, with all the small cuts and rocks hiding just under the surfaces, to have them as a backup. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, we'll be traveling to Echo Bay through Georgian Bay into the Sans Souci Islands area, also known as the Massasauga Provincial Parks. That route requires 3 separate paper charts. For convenience, I've highlighted our route, folding them neatly according to the use for today's run, but normally they are quite large when fully opened. The key is to prepare before you leave. Lay them out, understand the route, and know what to expect. That way, as we travel, I can follow along using my paper maps and stay orientated with the entire time. I also like to call it the buoy numbers every so often to the captain so that we know we are both on the same track.
Beautiful trawler coming in. Captain's doing a little check of all the oils and fluids before we go underway. This is Frying Pan Bay. We are getting ready to head out, and there's still boats coming in.
Green locks in the trench, slow water rolling by. Picture you lifting us right up to the Georgian skin.
We are entering the Muskoka Landing Channel.
Drifting where the stories sail. From Echo Bay to a rocky shore, grandkids laughing, asking for more.
Today is day 39 of our Great Loop. We are headed towards Echo Bay, approximately 3.5 hours of travel time at about an average of 6 to 7.5 knots where we are excited to have a boater's dream day of weather and wave height. We have been anchored out 23 of the 39 days of living aboard so far. I can tell you that there is a sense of accomplishment, but there is also a sense of nervous anticipation of the unknown. Though we have traveled this area with buddy boats a few summers ago, and we also did bring home our beautiful 41-foot trawler last summer from Gore Bay, only staying at marinas every night to make it a quicker ride home. It's a lot different of a feeling going from anchorage to anchorage, and today's endpoint, Echo Bay, will be the first time that we have anchored in that geographic location on our own. Today's cruise was a boater's dream. Wave height was maybe half a foot. It was sunny, it was warm, and we had nothing but clear skies. Here's what I do know about Georgian Bay boating. There are over 30,000 islands mixed in with wide open water, and at times can be as deep as 300 feet. Boating these waters of Georgian Bay can also be very nerve-wracking and extremely shallow in some areas. There are many narrow, tricky, rocky channels where you have to be on guard and be very aware of your surroundings. Sometimes your heart does skip a beat when you look down and see rocks, even though you know for a fact you are in more than 10 feet of water. It's amazing to see how very clear our waters really are up in this area. There are many stunning granite shorelines, and we can't skip those sandy beaches that are tucked away and make for great dinghy exploring.
There is the famous Henry's fish and chips. I think there might be a liquor boat in there. They've always showing that. But they've got lots of docks, lots of parking.
As you can see from our Nebo screenshot, we slightly missed the turn into the channel of Echo Bay. At first glance, it looked way too narrow for us to enter, so we actually stopped, rechecked our navionics, and then we saw that there was a sailboat exiting, and we knew at that point it was safe to proceed. After settling in and having a calm, quiet evening anchored in such a protected bay, the next day we decided to head to Henry's Fish and Chips for a dinner, late lunch, early dinner. From Echo Bay, it's only about an 8 to 12-minute dinghy ride depending on your dinghy speed. So here's a bit of trivia about me. I have only ever eaten fish and chips for the first time in my 50 plus years last year on a trip to Nova Scotia. So I was pretty excited to broaden my horizons while doing the Great Loop and left my opinions open for new culinary experiences.
You got the pan fried pickerel, and I got the regular battered. It is a huge plate of food. It's not every day that you get to cook breakfast beside a 60-foot yacht. That's right, 60-foot yacht parked beside us. It is a cruiser yacht and they are from New Brunswick.
Somehow we were blessed. In the middle of traveling the Great Loop, we were given an unexpected gift. 3 extra days with family and friends who chose to join us.
What is this piece here that you're going to be installing?
That allows me to run my motors, and my alternators on my motors charge our lithium house bank.
That's a cool little setup you got going on. What are you doing now?
We're building the board because where I want to install it is going to be tight. So I thought I'll build it and then I can just screw it in.
He's probably came to eat all the oranges.
He was out here this morning chewing off the algae on the bottom of your dinghy.
Was he?
When I came out, he was like just eating off it.
Not every boater gets to experience this kind of togetherness, and I don't take 1 second of this for granted. Grandchildren laughing and playing, catching frogs for fish, fires glowing along the shoreline at night. There are early morning fishing expeditions, quiet paddle boarding, where no one rushed and everyone just enjoyed talking into the evening glow. Our days were filled with splashing in the water, learning how to dive, and just watching the kids be kids. I'm deeply grateful for this unplanned bonus time, for the love, the laughter, and the memories that we're making. I'm holding on to these moments very tightly, knowing how rare and special they are. Being a boater isn't just about the vessel, especially on the Great Loop. It is choosing a life untethered. You drop anchor in a quiet bay, and within hours you're swapping stories with people who understand this rhythm. You bond quickly because you're both living the same adventure. Different backgrounds, different boats, but the same pull towards the horizon. You share sunsets and cocktails and stories. The laughter carries across the anchorage. And then the wind shifts. They head north, and you linger a few more days. The goodbyes are simple. These friendships may feel brief, but they are never small. People come into your boating life fully and leave a permanent mark. That's the magic. Constantly moving, yet forever connected.
So about a 8-minute dinghy ride from Echo Beach is a gas station and grocery store. So we're just here filling up our dinghy gas because we're gonna do a little exploring today. This is how clear the water is in Georgian Bay. This is about 15 feet deep in here. This is called the Sheephead Transfer Station, and which is basically the dump. So we were able to bring our stuff here. They do like you to have your garbage in clear plastic bags. They do like to have your alcoholic cans and bottles separated, and your cardboard and plastics separated, anything recyclable. And they're very helpful here. So it's a great stop if you're anchored out at Three Finger Bay or Echo Bay.
gotta get around this corner.
And right now we're helping Slacker. Yeah. There's a boss lady right there driving her own sailboat. This is my grandson, Brock, casting. And we are in Echo Bay this time. The first time you saw him cast, it was in Frying Pan Bay. How far down do you think we can see?
The next day, our family and friends decided to go do their own exploring at different anchorages in Georgian Bay, which left Captain Glenn and I an extra day to go and meet up with fellow boaters who we had met a few years ago. At that time, they were retrofitting their boat, and we were extremely excited to go see the finished product. We took the 25-minute dinghy ride over to Port Rawson Bay where they were anchored, and what a great visit it was. We also got to tour the completed boat. What an absolute beauty.
I love that boat still.
We are having a pina colada with our Blue Chair Bay Kenny Chesney coconut rum.
Good, beautiful morning from Echo Bay. We have been here for 1 week. It has been absolutely glorious. We have enjoyed every single day, and our view has changed as far as boats changing. We have boats come, we have boats go.
Almost like Red Rope,
Yeah,
or Nordic tug.
so pretty.
What's it called, Bob?
When you're running low on groceries, we need eggs, we're out of sausage, we're out of avocado, and we're out of bread. But we were able to scrounge up our last dinner before a grocery run. Breakfast. That's a pretty boat. Good Samaritans helping us stern tie in Frying Pan Bay.